He was called the Experiment, a man so dangerous, so unstoppable, they said he wasn't human. 887 wins, just 2 defeats. A man who fought through broken bones, torn muscles, raging fevers, and still crushed world champions. Alexander Karelin was born a giant, 12 pounds at birth, 5 feet 10 inches, and 174 pounds by just 13. And by 21, he was the youngest Greco-Roman Olympic super heavyweight champion ever. For 13 straight years, no one on earth could touch him. 6 straight years, not a single point scored. More than an athlete, Karelin was a monster, a legend, a living myth. This is the story of the most feared figure wrestling, and maybe all of sports, has ever seen. Alexander Karelin was born a whopping 12 pounds. Yes, you heard that right. And from a young age, he was already obsessed with literature and mathematics. But his path to becoming the most feared force in wrestling didn't start with the mat. At just 13, Karelin walked into a wrestling gym, already 5 feet 10 inches and 174 pounds, and it was clear this wasn't just a big kid, this was a future monster. By 16, he had grown into the super heavyweight class. In 1985, he stormed into the international scene, winning the junior world title. Next year, he entered 14 tournaments and won every single one. His first senior level loss came in 1987 at the USSR Championships, a controversial 0-1 defeat to reigning Russian and European champion Igor Rostorotsky. But Karelin wasn't done. Even battling the flu and a concussion, he came back to pin Rostorotsky at the next USSR Championships and then beat him again to earn the Olympic spot, effectively ending Rostorotsky's career. From 1988 to 2000, Karelin became a 13-time champion across the USSR, CIS, and Russia. Titles considered just as brutal to win as the European or even World Championships. Though officially listed as runner-up at the 1992 Wrestling World Cup due to team rankings, Karelin himself never lost a match there. At the 1988 Olympics, Karelin unleashed his exciting Karelin lift in the final to crush Rangel Gorovsky and become the youngest Greco-Roman super heavyweight Olympic champion ever, just 21 years and 2 days old. In 1992, he pinned Ioan Grigarash in a jaw-dropping 14 seconds. At the 1996 Atlanta Games, fresh off shoulder surgery, he fought through a tough match against American Matt Ghaffari, narrowly defending his gold with a gritty 1-0 win. For 13 years, Karelin was unbeatable on the international stage, and for 6 straight years, no one even scored a point on him. But in the 2000 Sydney Olympics, sports history was rocked. Facing American Rulon Gardner, whom Karelin had crushed 5-0 just 3 years earlier, Karelin was stunned in a 0-1 loss, his first and only international defeat, and one of the biggest upsets in sports history. Across his senior career, Karelin's record stood at an insane 887-2. His only 2 losses? The 1987 USSR Championships and the 2000 Olympics, both by a single point, both still debated today. Finnish wrestling legend Tuomo Karila even argued that Karelin should have won that Gardner match. Karelin holds the record for the most world-level gold medals, 12, in men's freestyle or Greco-Roman wrestling, and he's tied with American great Bruce Baumgartner for the most world-level medals overall, 13. He also twice won the Spartakiad of the Peoples of the USSR in 1986 and 1991. Alexander Karelin wasn't just a champion, he was the ultimate nightmare for anyone across from him. His sheer dominance, his unshakable presence, and his terrifying strength earned him a title no one can deny, the scariest monster in sports history. In 1999, Alexander Karelin, the most aggressive force wrestling has ever seen, decided to step outside his domain. On February 21st, he faced Akira Maeda in a shoot wrestling contest under Japan's Rings promotion. The gate, over $1 million. The crowd, intense. The media, the New York Times and Sports Illustrated couldn't stay away. While many saw it as a shoot-style pro wrestling match, Sherdog's records count it as a real MMA fight. Karelin wasn't just stepping into the ring, he was stepping into a whole new arena, carrying 134 kilograms, 295 pounds, of brute, legendary power. If this story amazed you, subscribe for more incredible sports legends and untold stories. What makes a monster truly scary? It's not just strength, it's the ability to survive. Karelin fought through injuries that would have ended anyone else. At just 15 years old, he broke his leg so badly his mother burned his wrestling uniform, hoping to stop him. He didn't stop. At the 1988 USSR Championships, he fought with a concussion and a raging fever, and still beat Igor Rostorotsky. In 1993, he broke 2 ribs in his opening match against Matt Ghaffari, yet powered through to win Worlds. Maybe the wildest story came at the 1996 European Championships. He tore his right pec so badly, doctors said he wouldn't be able to use his right arm for months. Karelin? He won the championship, got urgent surgery, and just 3 months later, claimed Olympic gold. Karelin's legend didn't stop when he left the mat. Between 1995 and 1999, he served in Russia's tax police, retiring as a colonel. Then came a personal invitation from Vladimir Putin. In 1999, Karelin launched into politics, joining United Russia and getting elected to the State Duma for Novosibirsk Oblast. He was re-elected in 2003, then again in 2007 for Stavropol Krai, working on the Duma's International Affairs Committee. By 2017, he joined Putin's high-profile Putin Team movement, and in 2020, Karelin was appointed senator from Novosibirsk Oblast in the Federation Council, where he still serves on the International Affairs Committee. In 2022, his name hit global headlines again, this time sanctioned by the UK over the Russo-Ukrainian war. Alexander Karelin wasn't just a champion, he was the monster of the wrestling world, a name that echoed fear across the globe. FILA named him the greatest Greco-Roman wrestler of the entire 20th century and honored him as one of the first 10 inductees into their International Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2003. By 2007, alongside the legendary Buvaisar Saitiev, Karelin was voted the greatest wrestler ever, 4 times, 1989, 1990, 1992, and 1994. He claimed the prestigious Golden Belt awarded to the planet's best wrestler. His dominance placed him among the top 25 athletes of the entire century across all sports. That's how big Karelin's shadow was. To this day, an annual tournament in his hometown, Novosibirsk, is held in his honor, a tribute to the unshakable legacy of the Russian bear. His physical gifts were almost superhuman. Brute strength, cat-like agility, tactical brilliance, explosive power, a terrifying combination that made him arguably the most feared athlete to ever step on a mat. Legends like Abdulrashid Sadulayev, Alexander Romanov, Mark Madsen, Juha Ahokas, and even the man who famously beat him, Rulon Gardner, all say it plainly: Karelin is the greatest. Rulon Gardner once said, "Karelin, God. He was and will remain the best fighter. True, some now think that I am the best, but I'm just an Olympic champion, and I will go down in history not as Rulon Gardner, but as the winner of Karelin." Beyond sport, Karelin was decorated with Russia's highest honors: Hero of the Russian Federation, 1996, Order of Friendship of Peoples, 1989, Order of Honor, 2001, and the Order for Merit to the Fatherland, 4th class, 2008. Serbia awarded him the Order of Saint Sava, and Dagestan honored him too. Oh, and if you ever stumble across the Japan-only Nintendo 64 game Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, yep, the monster himself is a hidden playable character. That's the story of Alexander Karelin, a legend whose dominance and strength still leave people in awe. His name didn't just shape wrestling, it became larger than life. If this story amazed you, make sure to subscribe for more incredible sports legends and untold stories. Share your thoughts in the comments. What stood out the most to you about Karelin? And who should we cover next? Thanks for being here, and see you in the next video.